Shalom! Hello, my yids and yidettes. Welcome to LJ's Spurs chat. Well, I might be riding solo tonight, so bear with me, but I thought it'd be nice to come on here and not have the stress of having to chat about another Spurs shit performance. Anyway, first comment. I give Enick minus shit and plus flush it down the toilet. Not rating the managers or the players because it don't matter who manages this club, and Enick get hit by until Enick get hit by an asteroid. I love it. Totally agree with you, Chad. Totally agree with you. But it's just a bit of fun, a bit of banter. You know, I'm going to go on here and give you my ratings of the players. Obviously, the manager. It's just a bit of a laugh. Do you know what I mean? And see if you agree with me. And plus, I've had people coming on here saying, please, LJ, would you please come on a bit more often, show a bit more content. And to be honest with you, there's not much to talk about, really, is there? You don't want to come on here every day like the bigger channels, just waffling on the same old shit. Do you know what I mean? So if you've got any ideas of what to talk about, or what do you want me to talk about, put them in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. Let's crack on then, eh? Vicario, good shot stopper, but weak at kicking. He always seems to be nervous with the ball at his feet, often passing to players who are already marked or already under pressure. He's also poor at crosses and corners. He has got a little bit better at crosses, but still gets bullied. For me, too much bullying for me. Needs to bulk up if he wants to stay the number one and own his own box. So as I said there, look, too often bullied. I've given him 6 out of 10 because he has saved us a couple of times. But when I was young, I know the game's changed, but you've got to have a bit about you, and when you're a goalkeeper. And if a cross comes in, you just got to take everyone out. It's your box. And if they know that, they'll be a bit more wary, shall we say. So he's got to improve. I know Inter Milan are sniffing around him. Rumours are that he wants to go back to Italy. I'd let him go, and I would give Kinksky a run for the rest of the season. Put it this way, it wouldn't bother me if he went. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't bother me. Pedro Porro, who seems to come in for a lot of shit, a lot of flack off Spurs fans, and I don't really know why. I quite like Porro. I've put here, ideally for me, would be better in a wing back role, as although his defending has improved, he's not a natural right back in my opinion. More often than not, he's good, and he's got a very good delivery. Hence the wing back role that I suggested for him. You get for a lot of shit, Porro, but you've got to also remember, I know he got took off the other day, but his fitness is mental. I saw like a brief little documentary on it about 2 months ago, and his fitness is mental. But if you notice, if you go back, because it's easy to see and go shit. If you go back and you look, say he has 5 games, 10 games, and then he either comes off or doesn't start. Just a little break, he'll come back good again. He's knackered, the poor bloke. Knackered. So I've given him a 7 out of 10 because he is the one that gets, especially without Kudus being there, he is the one that puts the crosses into the box. Sometimes he's taking the corners, and you can't deny that he gives it his all. He really does care. Romero, club captain, hasn't been at his best this season, and some of the old rashness has crept into his game, probably more out of frustration than anything else. But does lead the team and has come up with some important goals so far this season. His outburst towards the board suggests to me that promises made to him have not been kept as yet. And I've given him 7 out of 10. He's made a few mistakes, and he defensively, but what was the game the other day? Was it not Frankfurt, Dortmund, when we played the kids? He led by example. He won us. I know everyone says Johnson, but he won us that Europa League final, in my opinion. He led from example. But he is frustrated, and I actually saw people moaning after the the game against Burnley. What's he doing running up there? Blah blah blah. He took it on his own head, and he headed to goal. So yeah, not brilliant defensively this year, but still good enough. And he is a leader, and I think we should just enjoy him while we've still got him, because the way things are going, I don't think he'll be here next year. Mickey van der Ven, probably been the better of the two centre halves this season. His pace gets him out of trouble, and again, he has scored some important goals. Also, visibly frustrated at times. Not the finished article yet, but a great defender. And I've given him 8 out of 10. Because I don't think he's actually done much wrong, to be fair. His footwork is still a bit, if I had to be ultra fussy, he's not brilliant with the ball at his feet. Sometimes he does do his like Usain Bolt thing and loses it, but you can't really fault him. I mean, that challenge that he come in out of nowhere the other day just to block the Burnley striker's shot was brilliant. I think it's been terrific, to be honest. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for Mickey. Danzo, an old-fashioned centre half, in my opinion. Big, strong, decent in the air, superb attitude every time he's called upon. Would start for many other Premiership teams, I would think. Nothing fancy, just gets stuck in. Could find himself as a starter next season if Romero and Van der Ven leave. 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, he's not brilliant with the ball at his feet, but he's one of them old-fashioned centre halves. Like, when your back's to the wall, especially when you're playing the bigger teams, like, well, I don't mean any team, but you know what I mean, the bigger teams, and it's all, they're throwing the kitchen sink at you. He's always there, and he'd head the ball away to put a challenge in, and you can't really knock him. I think, what was it, 20 million quid you paid for him? We can't moan about it, and people are moaning about anything. But I think he's a terrific defender, and the attitude is brilliant because he could sulk, but he knows you ain't going to get in the team all the time. But as I said, the way the season's going, in the summer we could lose Mickey van der Ven and Romero, and he'll be starting. So yeah, fair play to him. Udogie. Injuries have hampered him this season, but when he does play, he does add balance to the team, and he's pretty decent in both attacking and defending. But he needs a run of games, doesn't he? Without an injury till we see the best of him again. So I've only given him 6 out of 10. Not his fault, is it, if he gets injured? But he does add a lot better balance, and I think he's been all right. I think I'm going to be saying everyone's bloody being injured for us at the minute. So I'm going to go for all these. And even though they haven't had the best season, when you read the names out or when you look at them on paper, it's not a bad team. It's not a bad squad of players, is it? And this is the frustrating thing. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for Destiny. Jed Spence. I put here, to be fair to him, he has done a decent job at covering the left back position, and it is hard for wingers to get past him. Going forward, his mazy runs are often wasted, as he always has to cut back onto his right foot. So I gave him 7 out of 10. If Robertson comes from Liverpool, and tonight it's come from, I think it's Ornstein, it could be back on. I think Liverpool will go for some from Wolves, and then Roma could do. There's a lot of mucking about to be done, but they reckon it's not dead yet. So if we get Robertson, he'll be competing with Udogie, and then Spence can go over and have a Porro. And hopefully, after a run of games back at his natural spot, I think you'll see an even better Jed Spence. It is a shame that he can't use his other foot. And it is a shame that in these day and ages, with the wages they're getting, you get so many players that can't play with both feet. But yeah, 7 out of 10 for him. Papsar, in and out of the team, started well, but then was dropped for no apparent reason. Then was injured and struggled to get back into the side. I've always said you can see a good player there, but he is and always has been a player that needs a run of games to see the best of him. Big second half of the season needed for him, and I gave him 5 out of 10. I don't really know if that's a bit harsh. Like I said, I think it's the first 3 or 4 games, it was terrific, and then he just sort of declined. Because I think Frank put him in like the advanced role, didn't he? And he seemed to take it like a duck to water. But since then, but we're probably going to need him now. Now he's back from the old nations thing. So yeah, but maybe a bit harsh, 5 out of 10. But what can you do? Kudus started his time at Tottenham on fire, but lost his way a bit before getting injured. Probably the victim of a poor squad, as everything was having to go through him, and he found himself getting doubled up upon most games. So I've only given him 6. Well, doubled up upon, I see him getting trebled up upon at times. But when teams knew that was our only outlet in terms of attacking down the flanks, he couldn't do it all, man. And people was moaning at him, you can't, bloody hell, it's hard enough being marked by one player, but 2s and 3s. And of course, now he's got injured. So I think we saw a little bit of his attitude creep in from what the West Ham fans said. He'll be brilliant one day, not the next. So unfortunate to get his injury, but he probably needed a rest anyway. So 6 out of 10 for Kudos. Bentancur, the player who the manager obviously rates and relies on, and his energy is very good. But out of so many of his midfield teammates, he plays the safe ball sideways or backwards. Needs to see much more offensively, which he did do before his ACL. So another 6 out of 10. It's a weird one with Bentancur, because I see him like sometimes he's running. He's the only one pressing because the front line aren't pressing. But he's another what I'd call crap in the centre of the park. Hasn't got the through pass or the special ball to open teams up. It's just a nice and tidy. He does his job well. You know what I mean? He doesn't do anything spectacular, does he? He's always like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Do you know what I mean? He's never like going to be an 8 or 9 out of 10, is he? So yeah, 6 out of 10. Polina. Before his latest knock, in my opinion, he was the number 6 Spurs have needed for years. Has the most tackles in the league so far, despite not playing every game. He has been missed when he's not playing. Has scored some important goals as well. And again, in my opinion, it was a mystery why he was dropped before his knock for Bentancur for me. A true leader, 7 out of 10. I just think he's a terrific player. And apparently they're still making up their minds whether to sell him, whether to buy him on a permanent or not. If you're going to get him for 25 million, it's a no-brainer for me. Absolute no-brainer. People moaning he's not, what's he called? He's not creative enough. He ain't there to be a creative player, is he? That's not his job. He's a terrific number 6. We've been moaning about getting a number 6 for ages. Get someone with him who's got a bit of confidence and is a bit more creative. I'm going to be on a winner there. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for Paulinia. Lucas Bergvall. So much promise, as he obviously has so much skill and technical ability and talent, but seems to be made of glass. And again, he's injured. This time, he's going to be out for up to 3 months. Needs to find his best position and stick to it, as often he's running around like an headless chicken. Need to see much more in the final third. So I only gave him 6 out of 10. But when I say he's got to find his best position, of course, that isn't down to him. He's told to play by the manager where to go. So because of the injuries that they've had, he's been here, there, and everywhere. But he just, when I saw that knock he had, now he's out for 3 months. It was worrying for me. That very worrying, because it looked like a nonchalant, a nothing challenge to me. But you can see that there's a player there. I think he'll be a good player for us. You just got to give him time. Shabby Simmons. Just as you think he's cracked it in the Premier League, he goes and has a poor game. I found him to be so frustrating, and at times he can glide his way past defenders with a drop of the shoulder, but more often than not, he loses the ball when trying to dribble past opposing players. Does work hard in tracking back as well, but still hasn't fulfilled his potential yet. Another 6 out of 10. And I think I'm being fair there, because he's obviously got ability and he's a confidence player, because when we played Dortmund, he knew he's playing against German opposition. He was confident out there before the game started, and it was no coincidence that he had a good game. But then you come back playing Burnley in the Premier League, and no disrespect to Burnley, they're shit. He was shit, and that worries me. And I think he's got to bulk up a bit as well, because he seems to get knocked off the ball easy. Tell. Up until recently, he was still poor, but then he went on a run of 3 or 4 or 5 games when he looked like Spurs' best defensive player. He was trying so hard. Then he was dropped, and I still don't understand the manager's decision as we needed to continue his run of games. And the way that he's been treated by the manager in regards to the Champions League squad is absolutely wrong. So I gave him 6.5 out of 10. And I just think he was just getting there. As I said, when he had that run of games, he was just getting there. 3 or 4 games in a row, maybe 5. Played well, looked a threat, cutting in, shooting, scored, assisting, crosses. He was getting there. So why would you just drop him? I do not understand it. This is what I mean about Frank. He does make some funny old decisions. You can't say that he hasn't tried. And I do genuinely sorry for the man. Odebear obviously has potential and ability, but he's either brilliant or rubbish. And to be fair, that's expected from a youngster to be that inconsistent. Is he going to be the answer to our needs for a quality winger? I don't think so. A squad player for me, as he often flatters to deceive. 6 out of 10. Again, a few of you out there might say it's a bit harsh, but I'm never confident when Odebear gets the ball, faces up the defender, and I think, go on. You know, he does attack the fullback a lot more than what Brennan Johnson used to do. So I'd probably have him more as I'd rather him than Johnson. I just don't think he's got to the level yet. Will he get to the level? If I had to get lots of doubt, I don't think so. But hopefully I'm wrong. Richarlison. Yet another injury for poor old Richie. You've got to feel sorry for him. As he's actually doing okay, scoring goals and being his usual nuisance. But he just can't seem to stay fit. He's never going to be a striker who scores 25 goals for you, and he's hampered by injuries. I love his shithousery, like Romero's. But if a decent offer comes in, I think we should sell him. So I gave him 6.5 out of 10. And it's just not quite happened for Rich, is it, since he come to Tottenham? For whatever reason. Fitness. He's made a Weetabix. And just as you think he's getting there, he has another injury. He doesn't want to go back home to Brazil. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. But I will guess that in the summer, Everton will bid for him. And if it's a good bid, he will go. That's what I think is going to happen. Kolo Muani. Despite not scoring, Muani was putting in plenty of effort and trying every time he played. But since the turn of the year, this endeavour has just vanished. His body language has changed, his efforts seems to have gone, maybe due to lack of confidence, but he's a better player than what he's currently showing, but just needs to get his mojo back. So I've given him 5 out of 10. I mean, I don't know what has happened to him. I can't remember which game he was against. Was it West Ham? When he was put clean through, and even though he hadn't scored for us, except against PSG, when he went clean through, I thought, goal. I was convinced he was going to score because I've seen the good Kolo Muani. That's probably a lot of you had. Nah. And since that, because people did say, would you sign him permanently? And I've said yes. Would I still sign him permanently? They've asked me now. With a different manager? Yes, I would. But I think tonight, just before I came on here, I think Juventus have asked PSG if they can buy him for £35 million. So I don't know how that stands. I think Tottenham can say no. If Tottenham have loaned him till the end of the season, I think Tottenham can say no. And Thomas Frank did say that he doesn't want any more players leaving, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. Archie Gray. He got a decent run in the side, but again, perhaps the victim of a team playing without confidence. He's always willing and gets stuck in, but fair to say he hasn't reached the heights we thought he would yet. But again, he's still young. So for me, again, a good squad player at the moment. 6 out of 10. You can see his potential, can't you, Archie Gray? Gets stuck in, has a bit about him, but I think along with the other young players, they're playing with pressure. So maybe another 6 out of 10 is a bit harsh, and maybe a few others, because you want to integrate your youngsters into a team which is playing well, which has got confidence. When they're having to go out to these youngsters and play under all this pressure. It's very, very difficult. And they shouldn't be put in that position. But obviously the club have got no choice because they're not buying anyone. For all these young players like Gray that are being put into this position, it will benefit them in the long term for when they come up against these sort of hardships again. But at this moment in time, it's not doing them any good, if that makes sense. Thomas Frank. Right, I'm going to try and be on the fence here a bit because I don't want to be biased. So this is just my honest opinion. Thomas Frank, you've got to feel somewhat sorry for him, as he has been hit with so many injuries and a forward line, which is, to be honest, embarrassing for a club the size of Tottenham. But he hasn't helped himself with the style of football and his tactics so far. He seems to care or worry about the opposition more rather than the strengths of his own side. Also seems to be stuck with his mindset. In other words, like he's still managing of Brentford. Is the job too big for him? Despite the injuries, I have to say yes in my opinion. Hasn't done himself any favours by criticising the fans and also the infamous Arsenal Cup scenario. So, Frank, you got a 3 out of 10. Much for me, I'm sorry. You know, I'll always try and back the manager. And I think I've said it on many occasions. Even if we was bottom of the league, right? But I could see progression. I could see something different. I could go, yeah, I can see this. I can see what he's trying to do. I would stick with him. I just can't see anything. Despite the injuries. Like I said last night on here, you're in a prime position as well to bung even more players on from the academy. You've got nothing to lose while we're suffering these results. So you're not doing anything. He looks a bit lost to me. I don't think he's used to the pressure. Even little things like you're sitting in a press conference, and with Brentford, you've probably got 5, 6, 7 people sitting there asking you questions. You go into the Tottenham one, there's 30 to 50 if it's a big European game. You know, little things like that. You probably think, bloody hell, this is a big club. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's handling it very well. It's come as a shock to him. Plus, it doesn't look good, does it, that Brentford are actually doing even better without him. Hello, sir. Top of the morning to you. Well, I'm just going through all the player ratings. I'm finally going to, and I've just done a manager one. So, I put here, so, after all that, my summary so far. So, all in all, a poor season so far. Fans are in uproar and the board don't seem to have a clue what they're doing. We need proper football men at the helm. My honest opinion is unless Eric sell up, we will continue to go round in circles, manager after manager. Despite promises so far, we've seen nothing. Up to tonight, it's £3 million net spend so far in this window, which is pathetic. Maybe they don't want to back this manager and waste money. It all points to me that they're trying to blag it till the end of the season, and then after the World Cup, Poch will return. Worryingly, it could be too late by then, as our fixture list looks daunting and we could be dragged into a relegation fight. The players seem to only play for themselves, hence why we are better in Europe than in the league. Worrying times for the club, often on the pitch, and something needs to change and fast. We have everything in place to be massive, training ground, and the revenue coming in is very good, but the board are seriously neglecting the football side of things. As I said before, we are an entertainment facility which just happens to have football as one of its entertainments. Until we go back to being a football club first, then nothing will change. So, hopefully you'll have to let me know if you agree or disagree with my player and manager ratings and my summary there. Just thought I'd come on and have a little bit of fun, really, rating all the players and that. And try and get on here a bit more often. As I said, if you've got any ideas of what you want me to talk about, send them in the comments, because we obviously, you lot are watching, so you let me know what you want us to talk about and we'll crack on with it. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you no, it wouldn't know. But let me know in the comments what you think of my ratings, I've tried to be as fair as I can because it's easy to come on here and go 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10. He's shit. He's shit. So I did sit down this afternoon because I couldn't work today because my van's bust. So I thought I'll sit and I'll just give an unbiased marking thing, taking into account the situation, because football is a confidence game. A lot of it's in the head. Do you know what I mean? So let me know what you think, and we'll be on again on Thursday, 7:30. Take it easy, and I'll see you soon. Shalom.